Hello, it's Jack Snacks and welcome back to Helldivers 2. Now in today's video it is the turn of the StA-X3 W.A.S.P launcher, or W.A.S.P launcher for short, which was a crossover from the Killzone event, which I think was the Festival of Reckoning. Every Helldiver got this weapon for free, you unlocked it at level 20 and I think it cost 12,000 requisition slips. Now this has two firing modes. It's got a burst fire function and it's got an artillery function. On the burst fire function, you can single tap the trigger and you will fire off one rocket at a time, meaning that you can pick off up to 7 medium-sized enemies pretty easily. Or you can hold down the trigger and it will fire all 7 in quick succession, creating sort of a volley of shots. On its second fire mode, you've got the artillery function. It will fire all 7 as one rocket, and then when it gets above the enemy, it will create an airburst effect, which is perfect for enemy patrols out in the distance. And I think this weapon has a range of up to 300 meters. Now, as you can see with the gunships, it's a 2-tap and it knocks these things out the sky. And because it has an auto lock-on function, means you can just point it in the general direction of your enemy and let it do its thing. And it is incredibly effective. Now, most people will complain that you run out of the ammo too quick, but nobody is forcing you to fire all 7 rockets at once on every single mag. I found that just single tapping and being a little bit sparing with the ammo meant this weapon was far more effective. It comes with 5 reserve pods, so that's 5 magazines with 7 rockets in each magazine, means you have 42 mini missiles that you can use. And as you've just seen, it is incredibly effective against the flesh mobs, which, as we all know, are just a bit of a pain in the backside to deal with. But this thing takes them out no problem. Now, some of its weaknesses, as we know, if you're stood too near any of your fellow Helldivers, it's likely that it's going to take their head off and yours at the same time. If you're stood too near to any trees, rocks, lampposts, a little bit of fence, anything nearby, there is always that little risk that it is just going to clip and ruin your day. But in the right hands and with a bit of practice, this thing is S tier. This is as good as it gets. But the craziest thing is, this weapon is only picked 2.83% of the time, according to a YouTube video that I watched earlier. And that puts it in the bottom 10 picked weapons, which for a weapon that is so versatile and so strong and so meta, it's crazy. And all it can lead me to believe is people have had a couple of bad experiences where they've stood too close to a bit of cover and just taken themselves out and then vowed never to pick it up again without a second thought. But with a bit of practice, this thing renders you unstoppable. It is, like I've said it so many times, it is so versatile. Some of its strengths are its long range. It's easy to use with minimal aim skill, which means you're not going to waste one of those precious shots. If you miss a shot from the spear, you have wasted 1 of 5 precious shots from that weapon. Whereas this, because it has that auto aim lock function, it's unlikely that you're going to miss. It's useful for softening patrols before they send an alert. It has the 2 firing modes, which gives you that tactical flexibility. It is incredibly fun to use and it sounds great. You can sit on top of a hill, cliff, or whatever vantage point you can, and you can provide support from quite a distance away. Yes, it does have its weaknesses. It's got its unpredictable missile flight, which means that it is quite restricted in tight spaces and city situations, but if you're stood in the middle of the street away from the lampposts, it's okay. Like anything, high risk of friendly fire, but again, with practice and just a little bit of responsibility, it's fine. Ammo can run out pretty quickly if you're just using the artillery function, so switching between the fire modes dependent on the situation is paramount. It does have lower damage than some of the other anti-tank options, which to me is a non-issue because you have 3 other Stratagem support slots to fill. And the only other negative I can think of is, it's not really a negative, but when you're aiming at a group of enemies, you do not have control over which enemy you fire at first. The weapon chooses for you. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope some of you give this thing another chance because it is incredible, and I personally would love to see that 2.83% pick rate rise dramatically because this is an unsung hero, and it is the ultimate support weapon for any occasion. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!